Hi guys, I hope I'm audible and you can see me and hear me properly. Just want to check on YouTube whether I'm going live or not, and it's visible and audible here or not. Right, I guess. I'm audible. Yeah, it's all fine. So let's start off the session and so. We are basically doing concepts, I mean, the strategy class for 2020-21 and CAT 2021, and we are looking at how you should prepare yourself. And this is a group of 3-4 sessions I'm taking on Unacademy CATalyst, where we'll discuss a comprehensive view on CAT strategy. So CAT strategy is what we are looking at here, and the key aspect, of course, आज के सेशन में हम लोग थोड़ा ज़्यादा ध्यान QA पे दे रहे हैं because this session is supposed to be in quantitative aptitude, and essentially when you talk about strategy for quantitative aptitude, it's going to depend on what your objectives are and what your starting level is. So the first thing when you should do uh, when you start off, let me just get my YouTube live on my phone here. So that I can also read your comments. Right. So you can yeah, I can now read your comments and all. So you can actually ask me what you want to as we move on to the session, and so essentially, I mean, as I said, strategy depends. The structure of strategy depends on where you want to go. So are you aiming for a 65%, not percentile? Are you aiming for a 65% score, which would take you to 99 percentile? Are you aiming for a 50% score in quants, which will take you to the 95 to 99 percentile range, maybe the 95 to 98 percentile range? Are you aiming for just clearing the cutoff, which means you're aiming for an 85 percentile overall? तो तुम्हारा कौन सा percentile target है उसके basis में? For this to get there, you basically need maybe around 30% of the total score. So what is this thing? Or are you aiming even above 65, and you're aiming actually at 80% plus because you are aiming for 99.9 plus in quants? So of course the quants challenge will be parallel to the, I mean, the what you are targeting in quants will depend on the targets on each of the individual sections. And one of the things that you need to understand about CAT prep is that if you can score 98 plus percentile in each of the 3 sections, so your CAT prep, one of the things that you need to achieve in your CAT prep is balance, because if you can score 98 plus percentile in each of the 3 sections, you automatically end up scoring a 99.5 plus overall. And why this is important is because a lot of people feel that 99.5, 99.7 is very tough for them. Might be. It's very tough because if you want to be a 99.5 percentiler in CAT, you need to be in the top 1000. And if you need to be a 99.9 percentile, if you're looking at crossing 99.9 plus, you need to be in the top 200 in the country. So obviously getting in the top 200 out of 2 lakhs is not a very easy thing to do. But उसको एक दूसरे एंगल से देखो, वो ये है कि if you achieve 98 percentile in a section, it means your rank is around 4,000 in a section. So getting a 4,000 rank is not so intimidating as getting a 1,000 rank, below 1,000 rank, or a top 200 rank. So if you think about it that way, getting a 4,000 rank, but if you can maintain 4,000 rank on all the 3 sections, you end up getting a top, maybe a top 500, top 1,000, because you might even go, if you get a 98 plus percentile in each of the 3 sections, you might even go all the way to 99.7 plus percentile overall. So this is the key, or this is the basic game that one looks at in terms of percentile development or percentile scores, and essentially if you talk about the exam, the 228 mark exam that happened this year, 101 marks पे 2 hours में, hundred one marks पे you got basically 99 percentile overall. So coming back to quants, since we are talking about the QA plan in today's session, coming back to quants, you have to, I mean, if your target, whatever your target is, if you're targeting to get 65% score overall, then attempt wise, to get a 65% score overall, which will give you a 99 percentile, then attempt wise, you need to be able to attempt 75% plus of the questions, which means basically out of every 5 questions you have to be able to attempt 4, right? Or if you look at a 26 question exam like CAT 2020 was, you need to be able to attempt 16 to 17 out of 26 questions to get a 99 percentile overall, right? So every 5 questions में 4 attempt करना पड़ेगा तुमको, rather actually 20 plus attempts करना पड़ेगा इसमें to get to that point. तब तुमको 50s में स्कोर आएगा, 40 late 40s early 50s स्कोर आएगा, तो you will be able to score as 99 percentile. So whether you will be able to attempt 4 out of 5 in every in the paper essentially depends on your skill level. So quants का जो division है, which I have done in my book, is basically the 6 blocks that I have divided in my book, the 20 chapters in quants which are divided into 6 blocks. So essentially whether you'll be able to attempt 4 out of 5 across the paper depends on what your individual attempts are in each area. So a typical CAT paper will be a breakup of these 5-6 areas of preparation. Although quants in my book I have divided into 6 areas, but while preparation I tell people that you divide it into block 1, then you think about block 2, 3. This is the arithmetic part. This is the number systems part. Number systems and progressions. The arithmetic part is 8 chapters. Then you got the geometry and mensuration part. Then you have what is the algebra part, which is block 5, and this is essentially a 5-month process. Sorry, 5 chapters, 5-week process. Algebra is, the whole thing is a 5-month process, first round of everything. तो algebra में तुम्हारा functions, inequalities, logs, और इक्वेशंस, ये 4 आएगा चैप्टर्स। और ब्लॉक 6 जो है दैट इज परम्यूटेशन, कॉम्बिनेशन एंड प्रोबेबिलिटी एंड सेट थियरी। इस पार्ट में यू विल गेट अप्रॉक्सीमेटली मतलब this is block 6. So you have to basically divide your cons prep into these 5 areas, and the ideal the process I advise people is that you start with 2 3, then you go to 1, because 2 3 is also the most important block in this part. I mean, if you look at CAT question division, you will get somewhere between 40 to 45, 48% of the questions coming out of arithmetic in quants. And so in a 34 mark exam, you would have 12 to 16 questions. We are assuming that CAT 2021 can go back to most likely to go back to a 3-hour exam like it used to be. I mean, the change which was forced upon us in CAT 20 was basically COVID related change. It was not a change that they wanted to make to the paper. And gradually, if you actually see the top B schools and their exams, you will realize that most of these exams are exams which have most of these exams are exams which have a structure which gives which is more or less stabilized over a period of time. So they don't good quality exams don't keep rapidly varying their outcomes or their patterns too much, or their question types or the question this thing. Because if they keep varying that, then they are kind of giving you an indication that they did not agree to what they were doing the last year. So they kind of gravitate to one level. So my bet for CAT 21 is most likely it's going to be 3-hour exam, because hopefully we are by November this year we should be over COVID, the COVID fear and this thing which had gripped us last year. We should be over that, and life should be back to normal mostly. I mean, fingers crossed, of course. You never know about a deadly mutation of the virus, etc. वैसा अगर कुछ नहीं होता है तो we are looking at that. So out of 34 questions, then you would expect around 12 to 16 questions on this, simply because of the fact, देखो, this is 8 chapters, this is 2 chapters. Geometry, mensuration, coordinate geometry is 3 chapters, out of which coordinate geometry is almost non-existent, and this is 4 chapters and this is 3 chapters. So even if you think about number of chapters, 8 chapters, 1 to 2 questions per chapter will get you to 12 to 16 questions, and hence arithmetic becomes the most important part of the CAT. And if you are in fact if you are able to do well at arithmetic, just on arithmetic you will be able to score a score of if you get all your arithmetic questions right, and you can get to that point where you can solve 5 out of 5 in arithmetic itself, your 90-95 percentile score is in CAT is in quants is guaranteed just on that, right? So it's a very simple strategy looking at it that way. Number systems and progression will have somewhere between 5 to 8 questions, which is high for a 2 chapter this thing, but number systems is actually very important. So इसलिए वो 2 chapters में you'll get around 3 to 4 questions per chapter. So that way, although it does not seem very very high, but given the fact that it's only for 2 chapters, 5 to 8 questions still gives you minimum of 2.5 questions per chapter. Geometry, mensuration, coordinate geometry. This area has again between 4 to 8 questions maybe, and then algebra has between 6 to 10 questions. So algebra is the second most important area in CAT after arithmetic, and permutation, combination, probability, set theory. Set theory का importance बढ़ जाता है because it is an integral part of logical reasoning. So DILR section we will always have set theory available coming in, and but in quants set theory set theory maybe one odd question, 1 to 2 questions. So between PNC, probability and set theory, you will have somewhere between 0 to 4 questions. Right? So the 34 questions will be drawn out of this. And it will be a random sample of this. So if you look at this, there's a minimum of 27 questions here and a maximum of 46 questions. So some variant of this will be used to get to 34 questions. So broadly, किसी भी chapter या किसी भी block को देखते हो तो 5 questions is the norm. कि how do you do on 5 questions? Right? So you have to first start with an audit. When you start your preparation, you first have to start with an audit. You can do that audit on your initial question banks also. कि क्या करो तुम कि randomly mock एक audit test बना लो अपना. जैसे suppose you are using my book and you want to test how good you are with number systems. ठीक है? And you should have a starting audit of every chapter. You should have a starting audit of every chapter. And let's say you want to audit what your number systems is like. So what you do is you just randomly say कि LOD1 बिना question देखे हुए LOD1 question 17, question 31, LOD2 question 5, question 18 and LOD3 question 2. ये 3 LOD से 5 क्वेश्चन उठा लो और चेक कर लो, 10 मिनट का टाइम ले लो on these 5 questions और चेक कर लो कि कितना तुम सॉल्व कर पाते हो उसमें से. तो तुम अगर इस तरह से if you make 3 or 4 tests like this before you start preparing a chapter, before you start studying a chapter, तुम अगर 3-4 tests उठा लेते हो उसको इस तरह से random, you can use my book, if you're using some other study material, random बना लो. तो उस चैप्टर में या उस ब्लॉक में you can even make it on a block level कि number systems plus progressions. I'm picking up LOD1 number systems का 11 question and progression का 13 question. LOD2 number systems I'm picking up 15 and 21 and progression I'm picking up 8. So ये 5 क्वेश्चन का टेस्ट बन गया. तो ये 5 क्वेश्चन का टेस्ट बना लो और 10 मिनट दे दो अपने आप को. गिव योरसेल्फ 10 minutes, 2 minutes per question and see how many you're able to do in 10 minutes. And then you also see how many you're able to do, and this is the first level audit. And then you also see how many you're able to do in unlimited time. So if you take 10 minutes more, you go to 20 minutes, see how many of these questions you're able to do. So you might have a situation. There can be various situations that might. So why this is important is because तुम्हारा when you visit the chapter for the first time, तो तुम्हारा logic, your logic will or you will be able to work out a clear logic कि तुमको करना क्या है उस chapter में. So for example, suppose I tell you, let's say somebody has a pattern or outcome. When he makes a test like this on the block or the chapter, his outcome is that when unlimited time is there, when time limit is removed, and unlimited time का मतलब ये नहीं कि 5 घंटे बैठे हुए हैं, मतलब एक पॉइंट आता है किसी भी चैप्टर का क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर रहे हो तो एक पॉइंट आता है जिसके बाद टाइम विल नॉट मेक अ डिफरेंस. तुमको आता है या नहीं आता है वो दिख जाएगा तुमको. सो व्हाट यू डू इज अनलिमिटेड टाइम पे सपोज तुम्हारा पैटर्न 5 है और लिमिटेड टाइम पे तुम 2-3 कर पा रहे हो. And please remember, this is pre-solving, before solving. Before you start solving the paper, before you start reading the chapters. So suppose this is the case. It means that you are pretty good at that chapter. So one round should be sufficient, and your work then is mostly about efficiency and speed increase. And how do you perform under time pressure? You're focused on that. But on the other hand, if your pattern here comes out to be something like, let me rub this off. Suppose तुम्हारा pattern ये आता है कि limited time में तुम 1 या 2 कर पा रहे हो out of 5, and unlimited time में you're able to do 4 out of 5 या 3 out of 5. So then this shows that there's a lot of knowledge gap also. So when you are going through your round 1 of the chapter, when you're going through round 1 of the topic, so you will kind of objective that you will set for yourself will be something like, where the chat's gone here. Okay. Yeah. Anugya, I'll answer your question. I'm sorry, I just saw it. मेरा chats बंद हो गया था. I'm not sure. I would bet on this. That will be a 3-hour exam as well. But nobody can be sure. One can only be sure after it is done. Right, after the exam is done. So coming back, as I was saying, तो ये ऑडिट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है तुम्हारे प्रिपरेशन के स्टार्ट में. Just make sure that you do that. और राउंड 1 पे जब जाओगे तो नॉलेज गैप दिख रहा है स्टूडेंट का, तो हिज फोकस विल फर्स्ट बी टू गेट टू अ पॉइंट, बिकॉज जब तक तुम 5 आउट ऑफ 5 नहीं कर पाओगे विदाउट टाइम प्रेशर, तुम अंडर टाइम प्रेशर 4 आउट ऑफ 5 नहीं कर पाओगे, अगर ये टारगेट है तुम्हारा. एंड इफ यू आर टारगेटिंग अ हाई परसेंटाइल इन क्वांट्स, यू हैव टू रीच दिस पॉइंट. If you are targeting a low an average, let's say you are targeting I should be able to get through quants without any mishaps, and I'll score in the other sections, then you have to reach 3 out of 5 in most areas, right? So that is the target, right? And to balance this, audit में क्या होगा कि एक टेस्ट बनाओगे ऐसा randomly 5 क्वेश्चन सेलेक्ट करके, तो एक टेस्ट अगर बनाओगे ऐसा तो हो सकता है कि उसमें थोड़ा बायस रहे, ठीक है. And thank you, Ujjwal, for telling me that you love me, and I also love all of you. It's been a great journey for me to be actually being able to spend my time with people of your age group. I've never felt my age over the last 20-25 years now, and guided hundreds and thousands of students into top B schools, lakhs of students actually into various career options. So Anugya is talking about how much we have to study on daily basis for CAT. Anugya, I think when you're talking about time, this thing, you have to think about not the time involved, but you have to think about, I mean, how much you have to study can be coming out of time, how much time you are studying, or it can be coming out of how much work you are doing. So I would rather prefer you to define your targets based on work, not on time. So the basic work is on a weekly basis. The basic work definition has to be on a weekly basis. और weekly basis पे तुम्हारा जो balance होना चाहिए, it should be balanced on all the areas. Every week you have to make sure that you balance out your preparation on all areas, and the balance has to be 150 questions on quants. Approximately, if you can do 200, that's great. It has to be around 10 sets in DI. It has to be around 10 sets in LR. And it has to be around verbal. You can actually think about in hours, because verbal में mostly reading होना है initial days में. So verbal you can think of maybe 10 to 12 hours of verbal, with initial days, first few weeks, 7-8 hours of reading and 3 to 4 hours of solving. And going forward it will become 6 and 6. But the first 3 months when you prepare, first 12 weeks, it has to be based on this. ठीक है? So, okay, now before I move on to this thing, and as I said, when you're auditing yourself, don't do it on only one test. What you do is you create a battery of 3-4 tests before you study the chapter, of 5 questions each, 10 minutes. Randomly select those questions, LOD 1, 2 mix करके 5 questions 10 minutes. Do 3-4 tests. तो क्या होगा, तुम्हारा जो बायस एरर होगा कि बहुत इजी क्वेश्चन उठा लिया, या वो क्वेश्चन जो उठाए वो तुमको पता थे, तो बायस एरर खत्म हो जाएगा, ठीक है. That error of bias will get over, and then you see on an average on a chapter, what is your starting point? Is it 2 out of 5? Both look at 2 starting points. Under time pressure, what is the outcome? and with unlimited time. Unlimited time में क्या करना है कि हर question पे जितना देर सोचना है, so that you think all the ways that you can think of getting it through, उतना देर तुम time देना उसमें. So what is your limited time and unlimited time scores becomes a crucial part of your objectives there, right? So this is what it has to be, and that's how you start off your preparation. And then once you have that information, then you move to your blocks, and the order in which you do it is 231. Block 231 first, and then you move to 654. 654 can be done in any order you want. So this is, I mean, phase 1 of your preparation, round 1 of your preparation. This is the first half of it, and this is the second half of it. तो क्या होगा अनुजा, once you define the work target ना, अनुज्ञा सॉरी, once you define the work targets, तो तुम्हारा time targets अपने आप निकल जाएगा उसमें. जैसे for example 150 to 200 questions अगर तुम करना चाह रहे हो, तो around let's say if you're taking 4 to 5 minutes, 5 minutes per question, so that means it's 750 to 1000 minutes on an average. अगर तुम 750 5 minutes per question करते हो, so you are doing around 750 to 1000 minutes of quants. So that works out to around 12.5 hours to 16-17 hours per week. But अगर तुम्हारे 6 minutes per question average आ रहा है, I'm talking about 150 to 200 questions, अगर 6 minutes average आ रहा है, तो यही चीज़ 900 to 1200 हो जाएगा. That means 15 to 20 hours a week you are giving. And I don't think average तुम्हारा 6 minutes से ज़्यादा जाएगा per question. Why it will not go beyond 6 minutes is because when you're solving for the first time any block or any chapter, you have to keep an upper time limit for how much you want to spend on a question. So you'll be able to see one thing, that when you start solving questions, you'll be able to see one thing, that beyond a certain time question के बारे में सोच के कोई फ़ायदा नहीं होता है. So अगर तुमसे कोई क्वेश्चन होने वाला है, तो 10 मिनट 10 minutes is a great time to keep as an upper limit. If you are good, then you might even reduce that, कि मेरे को 6-7 मिनट में होना है तो हो जाएगा क्वेश्चन, नहीं तो नहीं होगा तो मेरे को कुछ सीख के आना पड़ेगा वापस. So but upper limit is 10 minutes, and then you will get some questions 1-2 minutes also. So I don't think you will have an average of more than 6, ठीक है, in the first round minutes per question. So it basically boils down to 15 to 20 hours of quants. And DILR में, as I said, 10 to 12 to 15 sets करना है per week. On an average एक सेट तुमको 10, 12, 15 मिनट लेगा. 15 मिनट भी लिया अगर एक सेट on an average. Initially you'll be solving easier questions, then when you go to tough questions, you would have improved your ability. So 15 minutes is a good time to take on a DI set. So 15, and you are doing 15 sets per week also. तो ये सिर्फ 4 hours का आता है, 225 minutes का काम आता है. So this is only 4 hours that you are doing. Right, so before I move on, I have to mention some promotional material from Unacademy, which I am supposed to do. So these are 3 promotions that I have to talk about. One is the results at Unacademy. These are people who scored great scores in CAT, and they were learners at Unacademy Plus during the last year. So this is one thing you should, which I wanted to talk about. So you have this as the first point, and then the Unacademy Champions League is the other thing that you need to participate in, and this is something which will give you an access to prizes worth 50,000. Rank 1 gets a 10,000 rupee. Rank 1 in the Unacademy Champions League gets a 10,000 rupee Amazon voucher and a 1-month subscription. Rank 2 gets a 7,500 rupees Amazon voucher and a 1-month subscription. And rank 3 gets a 5,000 rupee Amazon voucher. So you do participate in Unacademy Champions League, and if you want to unlock this, you can use my code. The code is Arun M Sharma, Arun.yt. To unlock access to this, you can use my code. The code is Arun.yt, and that is what you can. I mean, you will have to participate using a code, which tells you which educator got you there. It kind of takes the monkey off our back with respect to referring educate students there. So you can use that promo code, and it kind of gives you an access to those privileged championships, etc., that keep happening. Unacademy Combat is also something which is happening on Unacademy. Keep track of those things. And plus pay, these are the batches coming up. There's a late night weekday batch. Hitesh, Trubhajyoti and Ritu are taking that. And there's an exclusive weekday evening batch for CAT-21, which is starting on 25th January. It's just started. And there's a 28th January absolute weekday batch for CAT. And you can see the educator's name there. And apart from that, मेरा भी कोर्स आज स्टार्ट हुआ है, एडवांस कोर्स ऑन DILR. Advanced course for DILR. I basically teach Unacademy plus pay data interpretation and logical reasoning. That's what I teach, and it's one of the most complicated areas of the CAT. So if you want to do my DILR courses, you can join Unacademy Plus using this promo code. This promo code will give you a 10% discount on the existing fees. So chalo, having the promotions out of the way, then let's come back to your concept strategy. Now what will happen is, when you do your first round, you have to, when I say this is round 1 of your portion, there has to be a second round and a third round and a fourth round. But second round definitely has to be done for all the chapters, because otherwise what will happen is, why round 2 is important is because otherwise what will happen is, you would have done a question in March, April, and the same question will come in the exam in November, and you'll not remember what you did, and it will be like a new question for you. So that's why reiteration of the questions is very critical. You have to make sure that you have multiple rounds of every chapter. And what I suggest is that in the first phase of your preparation, when you're doing 2, 3, 1, and then when you move to 4, 5, 6, in whatever order you move, 4, 5, 6, as I said, you can do 4, 5, 6, 4, 6, 5, whatever order you move. So in the first phase, when you're doing 2, 3, 1, in that phase, which is round 1 of your portion, तो जब तुम 4, 5, 6 पे आते हो, तो 2, 3, 1 का round 2 start कर दो. Second round of 2, 3, 1 start कर दो when you come to 4, 5, 6. And then you come to round 2 of 4, 5, 6. And basically what will happen is, यहाँ पे तुम्हारा portion खत्म हो जाएगा. This will be overall a 5-month period, hopefully, in which you should be able to complete portion. And if you can complete portion in a 5-month period, then after that the pressure will be off. So you can simultaneously do round 2 of 4, 5, 6 and round 3 of 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 1. Now what will happen is, why is it important to do round 2s and round 3s? Is because when you are solving questions for the first time, there will be a gap between questions seen and questions solved. And how much that gap will depend on your capabilities, your ability to think and ability to learn, and also it will depend on the quality of questions you are picking up. The more difficult questions you are picking up, the more the gap will be. So what you have to understand here is that when you come to round 2 of a topic, you will focus not just on the new questions. You'll focus not just on the new questions, but you'll also focus on not just on the new questions, but you'll also focus on solving the question not solved. इस पे तो focus करना ही है. But you'll also solve these questions again. So when you solve these questions again, what will happen is you'll get better shortcuts for it. And साथ में of course you if you are enrolled for any course, this thing the teachers there will be teaching you content and stuff. So that will also add to your abilities and your this thing. So that's important. और obviously during this phase ये 5 महीने का जो point है अभी अगर start करते हो and I'm talking about a 10-month context. So around this time you will also start your mock tests. So what will happen is along with the mocks, you'll also be starting your mocks during this time. So along with the mocks and you also do the previous year questions. Typically round 3 में you pick up the previous year questions of CAT to check CAT का previous year questions और ZAT का previous year questions. और round 1 के लिए basically you bet on round 1 के लिए you bet on one question bank. एक question bank पे bet कर लो कि this is the question bank I am going to bet on और इस question bank पे मैं focused रहूँगा या रहूँगी and इसी question bank को मैं solve करूँगी. So if you are betting on my books, you can bet on that. You're betting on time material, you're betting on CL material, you can bet that. So one question bank you have to bet on, which will give you that practice, that content and that practice. So that's the whole idea of your first round of preparation. And when you move to the second round, you are getting into mocks. You're getting into previous year questions. To CAT का previous year questions 99 to 2008 and then 17 to 20. That's the CAT previous year questions that you look at, and ZAT का previous year questions you have to look at last 10 years. ZAT last 10 years will be enough, and IFT also last 10 years will be enough. So इतना देख लो तो क्या होगा natural addition of questions होगा mocks में on every chapter. If you take 40 mocks and let's say each mock only gives you 25 questions, so it is still 1000 questions of quants. And if you are adding it across 20 different chapters, so that's a significant addition of 50 questions on average per chapter during the mocks. And then when you add previous year questions इतना पेपर देखोगे तो you'll get at least on an average 30 questions, and this will be CAT 99 to 2008 is 10 papers and 17, 18, 19, 20 is 8-9 papers more. So on an average अगर 30-35 questions मान के चलते हो तो ये भी around 1000 questions है total. 1200 questions होंगे previous year के. तो ये 1200 questions जब ऐड करोगे अपने पूरे कंटेंट में, अपने पूरे डायमेंशन में, तो अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 60 क्वेश्चंस पर चैप्टर और ऐड हो रहा है तुम्हारा. तो ये सिंथेसाइज क्वेश्चंस हैं बिकॉज देन यू आर बाय दैट टाइम यू हैव अंडरस्टूड द क्वेश्चन बैंक वेल एक्सेट्रा एंड यू हैव you know inside out what the question banks are. You have worked on multiple processes, etc. So this is the process that you follow for CAT prep, right? And as I said, you take at least 40 mocks during this phase. So this is what we will be doing when we are talking about CAT prep, the quants prep process. Now, do you have any questions at this point? और एक चीज़ और, while I wait for questions, I might also talk about one more thing, and this is supposed to be a 45-minute session, so I will, process-wise, so I've talked about most of the things. Now what will happen, okay, so I still have 5-6 minutes left. So as you move through your mocks, etc., the mocks will have two roles. They'll give you practice, of course. There will be a practice element to the mocks, and there'll also be a feedback element in the mocks. So what might happen is when you hit the mocks and you have done round 2 of all the chapters, as I said, round 1 and round 2 of all chapters is compulsory. And typically if round 1 on a chapter, if you spend 20-25 hours, then round 2 will be 40% of the time. So it will be 8 to 10, 12 hours. 40 to 50% of the time will be what round 2 will take on that topic. So when you are when you get feedback from the mock test, from your mock test, you will get two kinds of feedback about different chapters. The chapter is working well, or the chapter is not working well. you'll have two kinds of reactions, or you'll have two kinds of uh, structures inside the chapter, or two kinds of feedback inside the chapter. It's working well. So then your objective becomes to improve efficiencies further, drive home the advantage, make sure that you're doing it faster, develop even faster processes, reduce the number of readings you require in the chapter, and hence then round 3, round 4 might not be required in that, because the whole idea is to maintain. Or you might do a round 3 where you are making sure that if the chapter is working well, ideally that gap between questions seen and questions solved, that gap would also have been finished by you. You would have met that gap. So obviously, automatically, in that case, uh, the third round is just about increasing speed and making sure that all things get embedded and under pressure. किसी भी तरह का pressure आ जाए तो तुमको दिक्कत नहीं होना चाहिए. I mean, when an idea goes into your mind and it seeps deep inside your mind, when it seeps deep inside your mind, then no amount of pressure will hurt you in executing that idea. So, for example, if I ask you this question in maths, under any pressure you'll do it. कोई भी pressure हो जाए तुम कर लोगे उसको, right? It does not matter कितना pressure के अंदर कर रहे हो उसको. So the whole idea is that you have to take the logic deeper. Most of the cases when your chapter is working well, it means that your logic on the question is done. You are more or less okay with the logic of the questions, etc. So you just have to embed it further deeper so that it works under pressure. It does not fail you under pressure, right? नहीं तो वो हम लोग सबको वो कर्ण वाला जो श्राप था, वो हम लोग सबको रहता है कि जब हम लोग को सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत होगी उस स्किल की तो वो नहीं आता है. This happens to most people inside the exam. So you have to make sure that you move out of that curse. And if the chapter is not working well, then you have to. If the chapter is not working well, then you basically have to look at it from the angle that you might need a third round and a fourth round on the chapter, which might mean doing the remaining these questions again, or it might mean picking up a new question bank for them, for those chapters. But that's selective. So, and all this feedback you take from the tests. And tests बहुत सारे लो उस time. Take full length mocks as well as you take sectional mocks. ठीक है, take a lot of those. तो उसमें तुमको information मिलेगा कि क्या हो रहा है तुम्हारे साथ. ठीक है, so this is what it is all about. This is what the whole process is about in your quants preparation. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and we are doing this series of sessions here actually. Next few days, I'll be there live tomorrow again, in which I'll talk about your data interpretation process, data interpretation logical reasoning process. उस पर बात कर रहे हैं हम, और उसके बाद I'll take a session on verbal also, and then overall CAT prep strategy also. So all the angles of CAT prep, we'll cover that in 4 sessions here, and maybe some problem solving also, because this is a not just a strategy course. I'm also doing strategy plus some problem solving, practice problems for you. ठीक है, so any queries, anything else you want to ask me? Remember, you can unlock all the competitions, etc. on Unacademy. The Unacademy Champions League you can unlock with this promo code arun.yt, and that will give you access to a 10%. Also give you access to a 10% discount in either the Iconic or the CAT Plus subscription. Chalo, thank you so much. I'll wind up then. I'll see you tomorrow. ठीक है? Tomorrow again we'll be live at 5 p.m. and tomorrow's topic will be DILR strategy, And apart from strategy of DILR, we'll also maybe pick up few questions, question solving. I might get one test conducted for you here of 5 questions here to see to show you how to audit yourself. Chalo then, thank you so much everyone. Bye bye.